All right, week riders, taking the big bike out. We just did our oil change. Should be good.
One really cool feature of this bike is being able to pull the key back out. Here, I'll show you in a minute. This is my used 2011 Kawasaki Vulcan Vaquero, the cowboy. I traded in my 2019 Z900 RS Cafe for this bike, and it does not disappoint.
Alright, let's go for a ride.
But before we do, roll that intro. Previous to owning this, I've never had a bike this big. Previous to owning this, my biggest bike was an 02 Kawasaki Concourse, weighing in at about 660 pounds. Oh, baby. About 4.5, 5 years ago, I started riding. My first bike was a Ducati Scrambler, another cafe-looking bike. My second bike was a 2019 Z900 RS Cafe. But after last year's trip down to Missouri for a weirdo meetup, a bunch of guys, a bunch of motorcycles, great time, I realized the reason I had kind of not gravitated more towards touring before, I just wasn't ready for it. I didn't know what the bikes were capable of. I didn't know what to expect. It wasn't until riding that concourse, ripping 90. Hold on.
Oh my God, this bike has a lot of power.
Yeah, where was I? It wasn't until riding that concourse, ripping 90 down the highway, that I realized the true value of the touring bike.
Ah, hell, we'll go the other way.
Incredible. Just turning the throttle on this one makes you feel like you're in charge of something great.
Ooh, baby. Bike's got the comfort.
Where was I? So the Connie was a sport touring bike. The comfort was not the same. Little pegs, not a lot of room to move around in the saddle. This bike's got a Mustang seat with a backrest. I'm talking plush. Really ready to ride. Some of my audience will be used to this stuff. To some others, it may be just as new as it was to me. And it's very new. Handles a little differently, moves a little differently. Very different than anything, as I've said, that I'd been exposed to. But all very good. So, the point of today's ride is just to get out and get some miles on this. I've got the March Forgotten Angels trip coming up, and I needed some practice on this bike. Talk about some of the mods this bike has, and some of the mods I've already done to it. And get some highway miles, just so I know what to expect, and run it through a couple of field tests, if you will. I want to thank everybody for coming along, joining me on this, the inaugural ride. This is the Cowboy from Hell.
When you hear your Harley buddies or friends who are used to riding pretty big bikes talk about the torque, yeah, I get it now. I see what they're talking about. Oh, baby, smoking. You got a blunt up in that car, or are you just happy to see your rings?
Everything I've experienced before this was more sport bike oriented. I'm talking revving to the moon to go fast. This thing, you turn the throttle and baby, you're going fast. It's like power on demand, power on tap. The bike came standard equipped with some floating floorboards. Definitely the pinnacle of comfort. The previous owner had added these slightly taller bars. I changed out the windshield. The one that came with it was rather small, and I like something to block the bugs from my visor. It also has a luggage rack, pretty nice. It's already got the Bluetooth dongle, so I can pair my phone right to the radio, which is pretty cool. Don't know how much I'll use that because I'm a pretty big proponent of the Senna. I like having everything right there in my helmet, being able to answer the phone, listen to my tunes, do whatever I need to do without touching nothing. But we'll see. I'm open to new experiences. The bike had also come standard equipped with a heel toe shift. Like the barbarian that I am, I cut that heel shift off. Cut it right off. Tried to make it look pretty. The thing was driving me nuts. I kept constantly putting the bike into a gear I wasn't trying to be in. I got rid of it. I'm sure there's a perfect client for that, but it ain't me. This being my first true big bike, I didn't know what to expect. And I'm glad I'm taking it out because I was rather refreshingly surprised. It handles like a dream. Way more nimble than I would have given it credit for. Way more capable than I actually understood when I made the trade.
So pretty proud of myself, Bleak Riders. You know, I ain't been riding like forever like a lot of people. I've been riding for a couple years. I just did my first ever bike oil change today. Went pretty smoothly. Followed the Partzilla guide. Luckily there was one for my particular breed of bike, and followed the torque specs. Part of today's ride is just following up on the work I did, making sure everything's good, you know.
So from my house and the suburban back roads through parts of downtown, bike handles great. Let's get it out on the highway, start bringing this video to a close, and see how it feels. Out on the open road, the place where the bike will spend most of its time. 235, Des Moines Highway. Heads east to west. We're going to be heading westbound. Get off this ramp and hit it, baby. Let's see what this thing can do. Like to get up in the top gear, or at least damn close. Try out the cruise control. See what that life's about. I've rode these roads a lot. I kind of know every bump on them. And I can already tell you the suspension on this bike does not disappoint. It just soaks things up. We're also in pothole season here in Des Moines. We got potholes big enough to rent out as studio apartments. Soaks those up too. Very, very nice. According to the spec sheet, we're above third gear. We're above 30 miles an hour. Let's try out this cruise control. Got good cruise light. I was supposed to have a green light come on when I set it. Okay. And I'm going to go with something's not right here. Okay, well, I have to deal with that another day because I'm not going to risk wrecking myself trying to fuck with cruise control. Well, all in all, this is a good test ride and a good field test of the underlying systems. Couple of points to note. Bike handle's incredible. Way better than I was giving it credit for. And out here on the highway, it feels right at home. I don't feel pushed around. I don't feel too undersized. I actually feel like I'm right where I belong. It's been a Bleak Rides. Ride along. Glad everyone decided to join me. I hope you've stuck around this far into the video. Just seeing what I'm up to. Always growing, always continuing to learn more about bike bike life, bike culture, and being the best biker I can be. So, thank you everyone for coming along, for continuing to support my channel and my journey. I make these videos just to have fun. And I really hope, I don't know, other people take a little bit of enjoyment from them, and in some cases, maybe even a little inspiration. Alright. Well, be safe out there, and remember, whatever you got, just ride.